The Rockets logo next to Russell Westbrook.
Okay.
That is wild. So Russell Westbrook, after 11 years in Oklahoma City, is headed to Houston for Chris Paul and 2 first-round picks, 2024 and 2026, plus pick swaps in 2021 and 2025. Oklahoma City now has 7 additional first-round picks in addition to their own through 2026, plus 4 pick swaps. So here are the details with Chris Paul, a All-NBA selection multiple times over, a 9-time All-Star with 3 years and $124 million left on his contract, headed to Oklahoma City, who just picked up their supposed point guard of the future in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now the question remains, what happens with Chris? 34 years of age, will he be there through the trade deadline? Gone to all NBA first team 4 times, 3 times on the second team, and once on the third team. And Colin is back with us, and Reed Forgrave, NBA writer for CBS Sports, is here as well. Reed, your initial reaction is what?
Holy crap! That's the only reaction you could come up with. First of all, and I know the headline here is the Rockets are now pseudo-contenders in the West. Well, they might have been with Chris Paul. Who knows? But I think like the minor headline is, my goodness, has Sam Presti done so much in such a short period of time? It's actually 8 first-round picks that he's gotten since draft night. This is unprecedented in NBA history, plus pick swaps. You almost feel bad for Chris Paul because he's now going into basketball purgatory. I can't imagine he'll stay there long. There's no reason for OKC to hold on to him as an asset. But again, like we've been speaking about for days, it's a tough contract to trade. The only way they were able to trade it for a star with an equally onerous contract in Russell Westbrook is that they included 2 first-round picks. So incredible job by Sam Presti. And I think this is also for the Rockets. This is just one more example of a go-for-broke NBA. Most teams aren't trying to win down the road. They're trying to win right now if they think they have even a shot at a championship window.
So this, for Chris Paul, will be his 3rd team in the past 4 years, since the Clippers and then Houston and now OKC. Colin, do you think that Tillman Fertitta, a new owner in Houston, was putting the screws on Daryl Morey, that his job may have been in jeopardy unless he was able to get something done given the team's recent failures in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think it had to be on his mind, and I think more than the failures, it was the fact that Chris Paul's aging, and he's just not the player that he used to be. And then you mix in all the reports of the kind of discontent, the skirmishes between him and James Harden. And then when you add that into the fact that Chris Paul just isn't the player that he used to be, you have to look at options. And we know in the past that Daryl Morey is the type of guy who's always got something up his sleeve. So getting rid of Chris Paul for them, I think, was the smartest move that they possibly could have done. And to get a guy like Westbrook in return and actually get value for that, I think is just a great move for them.
Reed, how do you like the fit in Houston?
The fit with Russ, I mean, they played together before. Russ is an MVP. James Harden is an MVP. I kind of think they'll figure it out. Russ is that team has so much spacing, right? That's one of their biggest assets, is they love to shoot the 3, and teams that love to shoot the 3 can really open up driving lanes for Russell Westbrook. I do think that he has already hit the downside of his career. If you look at his numbers from last season, I think that much is clear. But he's still an all-star. He's a superstar in this league. And if he can improve his shooting efficiency just to like an average or slightly below average level, I think this is an incredible pairing with those 2 plus the pieces they have around them.
So, Colin, how much better would you say the Rockets are right now than they were yesterday?
A few games. I really like, I keep saying I just need to see them play together. It's so hard for me to wrap my head around this right now. But as Reed said, Russell Westbrook hasn't exactly been lighting things on fire. And the fit itself, the fact that Russell Westbrook has been such a poor shooter from the outside really makes me concerned. And obviously, like Reed said, it opens up driving lanes, but that hasn't been the style that they play. They don't really play a drive and kick. They play more of an isolation. So I'm just very interested to see how this fits together. But I do think they're better just because of the fact that Chris Paul, I don't think, could be relied on to play a full season and to be as effective as he had been in the past.
I'll ask this of both of you, and we'll start with you, Reed. The Western Conference has turned into NBA Jam. You take two guys and see what happens. So which NBA Jam team are you rolling with?
I mean, I'm taking the Clippers, not because they have the best duo, but because they have the best supporting cast in that duo. I know there aren't supporting cast in NBA Jam, but NBA Jam isn't the actual NBA. I love that idea, by the way. Like, we need an NBA Jam 1920 where we have these duos. But what the Western Conference is right now is the most competitive conference in NBA history. I'm still trying to, like Colin just said, I'm still trying to digest this. This is something that came so out of nowhere, just like that Paul George trade a few nights ago. But the West is just absolutely brutal. And look, I think the Clippers are the best team in the West, but it's not like them and everyone else. I think there are 6, 7, 8 teams in that top tier and a half, and then a bunch of other teams below them that are really competitive. So I do think, I'm so glad that Kawhi didn't go to the Lakers, because there's more parity in the NBA now than we've seen in at least a decade, maybe even, a decade and a half.
Colin, what do you think?
Yeah, this is just a lot of fun. I mean, I think this is what everyone was hoping for out of this free agency season, that we were going to get this kind of wild, unpredictable stuff. And this is just the latest. I mean, it's been happening all summer. So I'd have to say that I do agree that the Clippers are probably at top, but you can't count out the Lakers. I mean, you've got LeBron James, you've got Anthony Davis. If those guys stay healthy, which is a big, if, given their history, I think they could be the best team in the West, even if Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are healthy. They're just that good. The Lakers had to scramble after they didn't get Kawhi, but they still put a pretty good team around him with some shooting. So I think the Lakers are definitely a team to watch, and I think they might surprise some people with the way that they fit together in terms of LeBron James and Anthony Davis.
Yeah, you're right. Trying to digest all of this is pretty mind-blowing, especially on the Houston side with Russ and James Harden, to see whether it's the Mike D'Antoni philosophy, the Houston philosophy, the way Russ plays versus the way James Harden plays, or whether they can actually come together in some sort of cohesiveness. What do you think, though, Chris Paul going to OKC? You mentioned basketball purgatory, Reed, but he did play there during the Katrina move when he was playing for New Orleans when they were the Hornets way back when. So maybe he's not as broken up over all this?
I mean, he knows where the IHOP is, right?
Wow, shots fired.
And this is the worst possible thing that happened to Chris Paul in Chris Paul's career. He can only hope that he will be traded somewhere else. And by the way, that's not because, I mean, the Thunder are going to be terrible this year. They're going to be a bottom 5 team in the NBA. They might compete, depending what sort of moves happen in the next few months, they might be competing with the Charlotte Hornets as the NBA's worst team. But you got to tip your hat to Sam Presti, even though he has put Chris Paul in basketball to purgatory. And we'll see how long that lasts. But to be able to get 8 first-round picks in today's NBA, and to be able to, look, this was a good team last year. This is a team that at the All-Star break, people thought was a team that was one tier below the Golden State Warriors in the West. That was until Paul George got injured. But to realize reality hitting him in the face, and in the span of, what's it been, 5 days, trading 2 superstars and getting so many draft picks in return, we'll see how it turns out. But this does feel like almost like Danny Ainge pulling one over on the Nets times 2.
Our NBA writers Reed Forgrave and Colin Ward-Henninger. Fellas, thank you.